Uh, when I was a student at school, at the end of each unit, we were having some 1 or 2 hours of repetition. We were repeating the former lessons. So now consider my presentation as a repetition because
Mother of learning.
yes. Our former distinguished speakers talked a lot about what I'm going to present, but as my colleague Tamar is saying, repetition is the mother of learning. So let's repeat what we have learned during this session. So I have 7 takeaways from Marrakesh for Armenia, and not only for Armenia, I think all of them are very important. The first one is the need for social contract. I will go into details for each, emphasizing transformative adult learning and education, using multi-sectoral platforms, recognize the workplace as an important learning site, recognize the diversity of learning spaces, upskill and further professionalize and specialize adult educators through pre-service, in-service, and continuing training. And the last one is highlighting the importance of research and evidence-based decision making. Let's start from the most important thing for me, and this is the need for social contract. In his presentation, Uwe talked about this UNESCO report, which is about the need for new social contract for education. And I think this social contract is really critical for Armenia, because one of the things we are now having is that I think we are somehow sacrificing our future in order to solve some small present issues. And this is one of the reasons that why we are having now all this climate change and other global problems. There is this interesting notion of owing to the future. And I think signing this social contract is very important, because there are lots of misunderstandings, misconceptions, lots of manipulation in the societies, and as a result of these developments, the societies now are somehow shrinking, and there is a danger of this having a situation when people will not be able to come along with each other, to talk to each other, to effectively communicate with each other. So this is very important, and here are some questions we need to ask before making this social contract. What should we continue doing? What should we abandon? And what needs to be creatively invented afresh? So these are very important questions in order to have this new social contract. My colleagues talk, wow.
It's Georgian.
Yeah, why? In original it was English. So now I need a translation. That's an interesting quote from... Okay, I will say in English, and my Georgian colleagues, I hope understand. So I talked about protecting future from colonizing. This is a really very, very, very big issue, and there is a new term which is called futures literacy. This is a new movement which started with UNESCO, futures literacy, which means that the societies, people, can be prepared for the future. So we are always thinking that future is something which comes tomorrow. We are not thinking that future is something which is emerging, and we need to bring it. So if we are future literate, we will have better future. But the problem is that unfortunately now we are thinking shorter, although we are living longer. So this short-termism is a huge problem right now, and I think that's one of the obstacles that we really need to have this social contract in order to protect our future generations. By the way, in some countries, there is this interesting new position which is called future ombudsman or ombudswoman. This is an official who is looking to all the documents, to all the laws, and they have an authority to reject any law, any document, if there is a danger for the future. So this is an interesting thing that some countries are trying to protect future. So future is something that we need to care. We owe to the future. It's not something that you can use now for your today's needs. And here I have a quote from Rabindranath Tagore, a famous Indian writer, where he says that a person who plants a tree knowing that he or she will not enjoy sitting in the shade of this tree understands the meaning of the life. The meaning of this quote is that you need to invest for a long time. It's called cathedral thinking. When you do something and you know that it will come out later after you will not be alive, but you do it because you care about future generations. So the second one I took from Marrakesh framework. It's about emphasizing transformative learning. In Armenia with DVV International, we are doing trainings already where we are thinking a lot about transformative learning. There is a famous sociologist, Alvin Toffler, who said these famous words that literate people of 21st century are the ones who learn, who relearn, and who unlearn. So these are the three key abilities of literacy for 21st century. So Tamar talked about transformation of post-Soviet countries, and I completely agree with her, and I think that real education should be transformative. Because if we just accumulate knowledge, information, but there is no transformation, there is no unlearning, there is no forgetting of some old stuff, then learning will not be effective. Why Nordic countries are very successful in education and in adult education? One of the answers is that their education is more transformative. It changes people's thinking. It's a really very difficult task because there is some new, not positive inventions in neuroscience which say that unfortunately the first priority for brain is not thinking. First of all, brain cares about us staying alive. So if something is strengthening our existence, then the brain is not caring about thinking. It can do irrational things. So that's a very difficult challenge for education because we think that thinking, the brain's main function is thinking. No, the brain's main function is remembering. That's why it's really very difficult to transform people's mindset because the brain is strongly based on the memory.